Hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar hosted by ManageEngine on optimizing IT performance in the era of modern hybrid networks. Thanks a lot for taking the time to join us today. My name is Dhwani and with me are our product experts Suresh and Ilongo, and we will be the presenters for the day. This will be the agenda for the webinar. We will take you through the evolution of the hybrid network and what the current scenario looks like. This will be followed by some challenges that organizations face as they adopt the modern hybrid network, and our tips and tricks that will help you overcome these challenges. We will then take you through a short demo of our network performance monitoring and cloud monitoring tools, wrapping up the webinar with a question and answer session. It'll be great to have your active participation throughout this webinar. So if you have any questions, please use the chat box in your GoToWebinar panel. Simply type in your question and click send. At the end of the presentation, we will take as many questions as possible. If we do not have time to take all your questions, we will email you the answers within 2 working days. I'm pretty sure hybrid network infrastructures are nothing new to the IT community. So why this topic and why now? Let me take you through how this hybrid network has come into being and why it has gained importance recently. The trusted traditional on-premise model consisted of an in-house data center that hosted the entire organization's services and hence boasted huge computing capacities. But the rather well-known downside to this model was a huge cost associated to purchasing individual licenses upfront, paying for hardware, ongoing consulting fees, and dedicated IT staffing. These costs amounted to more than $100,000 a month, even for medium-sized organizations. As technology evolved, cloud computing entered and disrupted the IT industry. Cloud brought with it the ability to access business data anytime, anywhere, along with the ability to increase and decrease computing capabilities as per the needs of the organization. No upfront costs, no dedicated staff, no maintenance costs, and above all, pay-per-use pricing. This technology seemed promising enough to overthrow the traditional on-premise model altogether. But as we all know, it did not happen. And the fear of security vulnerabilities and the lack of control kept the adopters at bay. Although the situation was soon corrected by trusted players in the market, and Gartner's prediction grew to a whopping $1 trillion market associated with a shift in the cloud. A recent example is Netflix, the world's leading internet television network with over 93 million members spread across 190 countries, decided to trust the public cloud services of Amazon Web Services and migrated all their customer-facing services to the cloud, trusting not only their ability to maintain the user experience, but also the security of the company's data. Talking about security, government regulations on securing customer data in certain countries require organizations, especially financial organizations, to maintain this information on premise. This brought into picture the private cloud. Private cloud is a type of cloud computing that delivers similar advantages as public cloud, including scalability and self-service, but through a proprietary architecture. Unlike public clouds, which deliver services to multiple organizations, a private cloud is dedicated to a single organization. Thus, it's best for businesses with dynamic or unpredictable computing needs that require direct control over the environments. Since the infrastructure is dedicated, and in many cases in-house, it provides the much needed control, visibility, and thus a sense of security to the organizations opting for this option. But private clouds have some disadvantages. They still carry the same staffing, maintenance, capital, and management costs as on-premise IT, along with expenses related to virtualization and cloud management tools. That's when the hybrid network infrastructure gained importance. Taking a leaf from all these computing technologies, it gave the user the flexibility to choose all the 3 options depending on the services hosted on each of these. The workload in this case is distributed amongst private and public cloud capabilities, while the business critical services are hosted on in-house legacy infrastructure models. Looking at its advantages, the adopters to this model have been increasing, as proven by the Forrester Research Report, which claims 58% of the organizations to have adopted this model. This picture here clearly explains what a hybrid cloud model looks like. Organizations integrate computing capabilities of all their resources across on-premise, public and private clouds and switch and scale amongst each of these to achieve optimal performance. As we look towards this future, the greatest challenge you can face is keeping an eye on all these platforms. Legacy monitoring tools in this scenario will then not be enough. Let's look at how ManageEngine addresses issues across platforms both on-premise and off. I would now like Suresh to take us through the challenges associated with on-premise infrastructure that ManageEngine addresses.
Thank you, Dhwani, for your time. So in our example today, I'm going to talk about a real life example of a travel bookings website that had an outage. It was because of a simple configuration change on the network device, but the impact was huge. So we are going to learn how to effectively manage the configuration changes on the network devices today. So before explaining the challenges faced by this organization, I would like to brief you about the IT infrastructure of the customer. They had 15 data centers spread across the world, and they had hundreds of applications and thousands of servers from which they need to monitor the availability of the servers, applications, network devices, and they wanted to monitor the performance metrics like CPU, memory, errors, discards, bandwidth utilization, and most importantly, they wanted to manage the backups on their network devices. So this was the most busiest travel booking website in the world. It offers the flight and hotel booking from online, and it's been accessed by millions of users worldwide. So one fine day, the end users started experiencing multiple problems from different parts of the world. Some were experiencing a slow login, some were unable to complete the payment, some were even unable to access the web form. So when a user encounters an issue, how often do you think the user picks up a phone or send an email to report a problem and wait for the vendor to resolve it? As long as there is an alternate way to do it, the users are always ready to shift to your competitor and complete the job. No matter what, all that the user want is 100% uptime. But as a result, they were losing a lot of their unhappy customers to the competitor. So this was a very critical problem to this organization, and they had to address this with priority. Let's see the situation at the IT bay. Here, the server admin checks everything on the application and confirms that everything is working fine and blaming it on the application team. The application admin checks things, and even he confirms that things are normal with applications, and hinting that the problem could be with the network. This generally happens in all the organizations when you deal with multiple departments. But what is the actual challenge? What actually caused the problem? How to find that one error that is messing up everything? As you all know, being an IT administrator is a stressful job, and you're always being blamed. The challenge today for network professionals is end-to-end visibility of the network. So what do organizations generally do to gain visibility into their IT operations? They have different teams to manage and monitor their application, servers, and network. There are so many tools out there to monitor the IT operations. You have tools for server monitoring, network monitoring, real user monitoring, database monitoring, network monitoring, bandwidth monitoring, and so on. But what is the use of having all these tools when they are not integrated with each other? Take a look at this chart and you can understand the problem could be from anywhere. Maybe the problem could be with application, or could be with database, or even the problem could be from the network end. But how do you know where the root of the problem is? Looking at this chart, you can understand that the login is slow, and the JVM is running out of thread, and the database tool is telling you that the SQL query is slow, and your network tool is telling you that the bandwidth is saturated. But when you have multiple tools from multiple vendors, this is what the problem is. Each tool talks their own language, and if all these tools are disjointed, and you need to definitely spend a lot of time on the ground to understand and analyze and troubleshoot the issues. So you're just adding up more downtime. So how to fix all these problems? So from this chart, it is clearly understood that the root of the problem was from the network end, and the bandwidth was completely saturated, which is what making the SQL query to run slow, which is what making the JVM to run out of thread, which is what the end users are facing it as slowness. So how do you solve this problem? So what is the solution? You may have at least 5 to 10 different monitoring tools in your environment to get the complete visibility into your IT, but it is a painful process. So what is the solution? How amazing it will be if you have one simple integrated platform that solves most of your IT needs. So that's when we thought thought of developing a common framework with our top 5 networking modules from ManageEngine, and the result is OpManager 12. So we have health and performance monitoring with OpManager for the servers, app servers, and network devices. And we have a detailed bandwidth analysis with NetFlow Analyzer, IP address and switch port management with IPAM, and firewall log management with Firewall Analyzer. So all this comes in one tool. So let me just go ahead and show how easy it is to find and troubleshoot this issue in OpManager. So hold on for a moment. So there are 3 common reasons why the router is dropping packets. Maybe the router was running with high CPU or memory utilization or memory and is unable to process the packets. The router may be flooded with huge traffic, or the router may have a faulty configuration change. Now let us see how simple it is to find and troubleshoot the root cause of the problem. As we can see here in the alarms, there is an alarm for the packet loss. And let me get inside the device snapshot page, drill down to see the CPU utilization and memory utilization. Things are normal with CPU and memory. So let me go ahead and check the traffic condition on the device. There's no spike. Things looks normal here. Let me also check the in and out traffic on the interface. Things are normal here too. And I can also check if there is any configuration change made on the router. Yes, I can see that there is a configuration change made last night, and that is what the problem is. So before going ahead and resolving this problem, let me go ahead and revert the change. So baseline version, these are the trusted backup version, the best configuration that works on the device. So I'm just changing that and the packet loss issue is gone. So not only this, you can do a lot more with OpManager NCM module. So now I'm going to give you 5 ways that helps you prevent the disaster in the future. Automated backups. So backups are really important. So you need to maintain regular backups of the network devices for every change. Is really important. They are handy and really helpful to restore your network faster. Without the backup, it will definitely take a longer time to rebuild your network. That will definitely cause a major impact to your business. NCM module allows you to back up the network device in 3 different ways. Enable change detection. It helps you track any change through syslog events. Whenever the user logs out from the terminal, a syslog event is triggered and NCM takes backup immediately. You can also run an instant backup on the device by getting inside the device snapshot page on the NCM module and execute backup now. You can also schedule the backup at a periodic interval, either daily, weekly, monthly, and trusted baseline versions. As I said, these are the best working configuration on the device. So NCM will take the backup versions and it will increment the backup version and store all the backups for every change, and you can mark any one of the best configuration as the baseline version. So this will allow you to react to your outages quickly and enables the business continuity immediately. Role-based access controls. So generally in any organizations there will be more admins, and mostly maximum of them will be having access to all the network devices, and you will be ending up missing something somewhere at some time. Using NCM, you can keep a check on the changes made by the network admins and the users. NCM sends out a notification for all change requested by users, so the changes made by the unauthorized personnel are not implemented before administrator's approval. Rolling back to the trusted configuration automatically. So NCM allows a rollback plan through notification. You can create a profile and associate this with the device so that whenever a change is made on the device, NCM will apply the rollback plan and execute the previous or the baseline configuration immediately. Once after taking the corrective action to restore the network, now the job is to identify who did the change, what type of change was executed, and at what time, and so on. So each time the change happens, NCM will store the backup. It allows you to compare different versions and differentiate the change. I believe now you would have learned how to manage the backup on the network devices effectively. So to recap, we saw a use case to find and troubleshoot the issue from the network part. So with this, I'm completing my presentation, and let me hand over. Yeah, Dhwani, you can take over.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you, Suresh, for taking us through the example. Now that your on-premise challenges are looked after, let's take a look at how we address challenges that you might face when monitoring your cloud-based services. I would like Ilango to take you through the scenarios where ManageEngine has overcome such challenges.
Thank you, Dhwani. This is Ilango from Site 24/7. So far, you have seen the problem that you're facing with on-premise solution. I mean, how to discover the network problem with the on-premise solution. I'll be taking you through through a scenario where you can monitor your end user experience with a cloud solution like Site 24/7. Let me share an experience from one of our customer who gave us the case study on importance of end user monitoring. A police department of a state used to collect the penalty for the tickets through their website from the defaulters. One day, a defaulter traveled all the way from a different city to the police department to pay the penalty and showed his frustration, saying that he couldn't make the payment online. Till then, the police department was unaware of that particular issue. Then the problem was escalated to the ID team, where they found everything to be working as expected with the help of traditional in-house monitoring solution. So where could the problem be? The IT ops and DevOps team got together with all the data from the in-house monitoring solution and found no issues within the data center. So everything seems perfect. So then they did a manual test outside the data center by simulating the end user scenario and figured out they had broken links during the payment process, which resulted in frustration for the users. That's when they realized the importance of end user monitoring outside the data center, and now they use Site 24/7 to get that end user experience from different geographical locations. So what were the challenges faced by the police department? So the downtimes may differ with locations, which may not be the same globally. Traditional IT monitoring don't work together where they have a server team, database team, network and applications team. They had difficulties in finding the exact root cause. Third-party content like gateway may affect the performance of your application. There will be no visibility on end-user experience while you are monitoring with the help of in-house monitoring tool. So what are the focus on end-user experience? We have seen the challenges on how to overcome it. You have to move the focus on end-user experience and the availability of the website. For any cloud solution or web applications, customers will be from across the globe. Monitoring of such applications from inside a data center cannot identify the experience of a global customer. End-user experience should be monitored from outside the data center, which will give greater visibility into availability and performance faced by the end user. Because in-house monitoring may directly access the web server, whereas the cloud monitoring may access the web server through your firewall, network devices, load balancers, etc., which may give you a different result than the in-house monitoring solution. So how we do the end-user experience from site 24/7 perspective. The end-user experience is done in two different ways, synthetic as well as real user. Synthetic is something which is robotic, where you can select a location server of your choice from where you can monitor the availability and performance of your website. Site 24/7 has 60 plus location servers across the globe, and you can choose any of them from the list. So let me start with the website availability monitor. Under synthetic monitoring, you can monitor website availability, the transactions, everything. I'll start with the website availability monitoring. Here you can choose a location server from which we will be sending the HTTPS request, and we'll get the response time and availability of your website. The response time is calculated by the DNS time, the first byte, the connection time, and the last byte. You can also monitor the web page defacement with the help of website monitoring. Website defacement in the sense. Website defacement in the sense we will monitor the HTML content of the website, which will help you to monitor a specific keyword or the entire content of your website. So this is the dashboard that we give for monitoring your website. So here the response time, you can see the DNS time, the connection time, the first byte and the last byte to take the total response time. So you'll also be seeing the global status of every location from which you're monitoring. So whenever the website goes down, we'll give you a complete root cause analysis report. The root cause analysis report comprise the DNS resolution time, the ping report, the traceroute report, as well as a screenshot of the error message of what we are getting from the web page. The next one on the web, the synthetic monitoring is a web application real browser monitoring. So if you wish to monitor a transaction, not just a single URL, you can go with a real browser monitor. For instance, a user wants to monitor his e-commerce website just by logging into the website, selecting a product and logging out after making a payment. These 4 steps can be recorded on a real browser recording tool, and this will be simulated on a server at the back end. So you can monitor the same from different locations with a specific time. So you do not need any script for recording. We give you a easy web browser like tool, which is built on a Firefox. So you can just play around what you will be doing on a real browser. You can monitor the way the user interact with the website. So whatever you do, like the mouse overs, the cursor action, everything will be captured. We also follow an intelligent capture functionality which allow us to automatically understand the changes whatever you make on your web page. So you do not get any false alerts or anything. So this is the recording tool that I was talking about. You can just record all the steps whatever you do, and you'll be able to see the actions that you perform on it. So instead of the response time, here we'll give you the transaction time. So if you are performing 4 steps or 14-step transactions, everything will be covered under transaction time. We'll also be showing the page load time of each step that you're performing and the availability from different locations that you're monitoring. We'll also be taking a screenshot of every step that you're recording. on the first poll of every day. So whenever there is a status change, we'll go for another screenshot. With that, the synthetic monitoring is getting over. I'll take you through the real user monitoring. So synthetic monitoring, as I said, you can select a location server, but when it comes to real user monitoring, you can monitor the user's experience in real time. So we will be giving you a JavaScript snippet which has to be added to your web page, to the header or the footer of your web page. And whenever a user tries to access the web page, the snippet will capture the user's performance, the user's experience, right from the browser that he's using, the OS version from which he's trying to access, the internet service provider through which he's trying to access the website. Everything will be monitored with the help of the snippet. So as I said, you'll be able to monitor the browser metrics, not just the browser. You'll also be able to monitor the version of every browser. You'll be able to get a performance insight on various platform like desktop, tablet, mobile, or when it is desktop, iOS, or Windows, Linux machine. You'll be able to see the details. You'll be able to monitor individual web transaction like the page rendering time, the document processing time, and the downloading time. And as I said, you'll also be able to see the internet service providers details and their throughput while accessing your website. So this is the app score that we give. So you'll be able to see the experience of every user from across the globe. So you can get app score, and whenever required, you can add more pages or more servers to the locations where you have to concentrate. So we have seen about the end user experience monitoring. Within the end user experience monitoring, I'd like to take you through the server monitoring here. So let's take a scenario of a multinational company which has a chain of its departmental stores across the globe. We have they have two servers deployed in each store connected to the internet. They are using different monitor tool at each location, but once they come to Site 24/7, they will be having a centralized monitoring solution. So these are the location servers that they have for different countries. So they have distributed remote servers. They have to monitor the availability of every server and the metrics in real time, the performance monitoring, and they need to receive alerts instantly whenever there is a status change within the server. And they will have a centralized monitoring solution. They do not want to have a separate monitoring solution in each data center. They can monitor from anywhere, from any part of the world. Site 24/7 has installed the server agent on all its servers across the globe, and we are monitoring from a centralized location. So what are the benefits of agent-based server monitoring? So the agent-based monitoring will help you to monitor the default metrics like CPU utilization by core, memory utilization like memory breakup, memory pages, disk utilization with individual disk partition. You'll also be able to monitor individual services and processes running on your machine, and you can monitor the event log for Windows and syslog for Linux machines. Finally, you'll also be able to monitor the interfaces, the wired or wireless interfaces of your server. So when we say services and processes, you'll not only monitoring, you'll also be able to start and stop a service from the web client. So once you discover the services, you'll be able to see them on the client, and you can set a threshold for instant alerting, and you can also start and stop them from the web client. Not only from the web client, you'll also be able to monitor them from your mobile applications. Site 24/7 has exclusive mobile application for iOS and Android devices. Once you install the agent, you'll be able to see all the servers on your mobile application, and from where you can manage your servers, the services running on your servers. You'll also be able to monitor the incoming and outgoing traffic within the server interfaces. So you can just set a threshold for it, and whenever it gets violated, you can receive alert. And apart from that, we also provide resource check profiles, which will help you to monitor a specific URL within the server. You can also monitor port open, It can monitor file checks for its access check, permission check, and directory for subdirectory availability, access check, and permission check of the directory. For Windows, you can monitor the event log, and for Linux, you can monitor the syslog, and you can also do NFS check within your server with the help of resource check profile. So this is one of the example for event log monitoring. You have to just add the severity and the log type. So whenever the log type occurs, it'll generate an instant alert to you. You can also run a strategy like the number of occurrences. So if the number of, for instance, here we have set it as 4. So if the number of occurrences reaches 4, you'll be receiving an alert for that. And the other benefit of agent-based monitoring when it comes to Windows Server, it'll help you to monitor the Windows applications running on it. So if you have your IIS, MS SQL, Exchange, Active Directory, and SharePoint servers running on your machine, a single agent will automatically discover these services, and it will monitor each and every application for its individual metrics. And not only the agent-based monitoring, we also provide agentless monitoring for Amazon Web Services, which will help you to monitor your AWS resources with CloudWatch. So we will do an API call to the CloudWatch, and whatever the metrics a CloudWatch monitors will be captured by Site 24/7, and we'll show it on our console. So you can do auto discovery of all the cloud resources like EC2 host, RDS, EBS, SNS topics, S3 buckets, etc. Another feature with the agentless monitoring is you can also integrate server agent with AWS. So after discovering all these instances, you wish to monitor the EC2 instances with server agent, because server agent gives you more details than the CloudWatch offers. So you can just integrate server agent directly from the cloud, and that will help you to monitor each and every metrics of your servers. And apart from that, Site 24/7 offers other types of monitoring. So when it comes to synthetic monitoring, not only the website and web page analyzer, you'll also be able to monitor your DNS servers, FTP, ping port, etc. Server monitor not only for Windows, you can monitor your Linux, Mac OS X, and FreeBSD servers. And you'll also be able to monitor virtual server for VMware monitoring. You can do network monitoring with routers, switches, and firewalls. Application performance monitoring will help you to monitor your Java, .NET, Ruby on Rails applications. And real user monitor, as I said, will help you to monitor the real-time user experience. That I'm closing this off. I'll hand it over to Dwani. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lambo. That was interesting. And now that we have our hybrid network infrastructure monitoring covered, let's conclude by revisiting the important takeaways of the webinar. End user experience, the ultimate metric to IT performance, can be affected by failure in services either hosted on-premise or off. As we migrate to a hybrid network infrastructure, ManageEngine provides you solutions to combat challenges faced in both these situations. With our on-premise network monitoring solution OpManager, you gain visibility and control over your network by managing and monitoring your physical and virtual servers, network bandwidth and firewall logs, as well as IP addresses and switch ports. For managing and monitoring your critical cloud-hosted applications, you have Site 24/7 that lets you have unified visibility into your cloud infrastructure. It allows you to analyze and segment performance based on browser, platform, geography, ISP, and more, thereby letting you gauge the application experience of end users. Thank you. Now let's take a look at some of the questions posed by you all. Okay, Peter here has a question. Do you have the router credentials in OpManager to read the configurations? For example, Cisco enabled credentials. If yes, where are these credentials stored and how are they stored? Suresh?
No, to read the configurations with OpManager, I believe you're talking about the NCM. So you have to enable the right community. If it is SNMP V1 or V2 version, or if it is V3, you need to enable the proper credentials, and then it allows you to take the backup of the configuration changes on the network devices.
Thanks, Suresh. We have another question with this move.
I hope that answers your question. Let me just move forward and take a couple of more questions. Okay, I believe someone is asking where are these backups are stored. So they are stored as text files inside the OpManager application under the installation folder.
The next question. What routers does it support? I typically use WatchGuard UTM devices. Can it do a backup of these routers too?
We have a list of supported devices through NCM, whatever the device is, it is supported. It is hosted on our website. We will also be sending you the link so you can take a look at it later.
I hope that answers your question. Okay, the next question. For OpManager is there any feature available on capacity analysis?
Yeah, I believe we have the capacity analysis on the roadmap. Maybe to have a fair idea, I would recommend you to go ahead and explain what type of things that you're looking in for in the capacity analysis. That would help us to answer your question with more information.
Does NetFlow Analyzer allow to analyze the capacity utilization of bandwidth performance? We have Piyushri here who can answer the question. Piyushri.
Okay, yes, we have bandwidth analysis based on the capacity planning where there's a report which you can generate, and based on your historical data you can analyze and you can generate a report which gives you a capacity planning report. So yes, NetFlow analysis allows capacity planning with the help of capacity planning reports available.
And we have a user who's asking about where he can get access to trial the software. We discussed about two different softwares in the session, so I'm not sure which software you're asking about. If it is OpManager, you can go to opmanager.com and you can go ahead and download the OpManager software. If it is Site 24x7, yep. If it is Site 24x7, again it is available in our ManageEngine website. We will also be sending out an email with the links to both these products, and you always have a full access to the product for the 30 days to trial out all the features without any limits. I hope that answers your question.
Going back to the question that Peter asked, there was a slight miscommunication. He wants to know where the credentials are stored and not the backup. Is it the OpManager database or where?
Yeah, the credentials are encrypted and stored in OpManager database.
Okay, I hope, Peter, that answers your question. All right.
Yes, I believe there's one more question from one of our user who's asking whether you can get more details on the capacity analysis. Yes. Yeah, we can write down our support email address. You can always get in touch with them. You can send in your contact number to us, and we can set up a call with you with our tech support team.
I'd now like to take over the questions for site 24/7. We have a user here who's asking, if you have multiple customers, can you set a different email address per customer to send alerts to?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is no restriction for the number of alert contacts that you can add to the client. So you can have any number of clients. So if you go to admin, user and alert management, you'll be able to add any number of users to receive alerts.
I hope this more that answers your question. I hope, are there more queries that anybody would like to bring up? Any more questions? We will be here till 11:30 in case there are any. Yes, we will send you the links to review the software by email. Anybody else has that question? Yes, we will. Is there something else that you'd like to know?
I believe there is one more question from the user. He's asking whether how to restrict an access for the user to back up the network the configuration changes on the network devices. I believe, yes, this can be done. You have to create an operator user in OpManager for the NCM module. And so whenever the operator user executes a change, he uploads the draft and it sends out a notification to the administrator. The administrators can either approve or deny the change request. So if he approves, it goes to the device, otherwise it is rejected. I hope that answers your question. I believe there are more questions coming in, so what we would like to do is we will compile all these questions and we will send out an email, or we will also make a forum post compiling all these questions so it reaches out the larger audience. So thank you for your time. So we have a lot of questions here. We'll take it up offline, compile all those things, and we'll send out an email or make a forum post so that it reaches out the larger audience. Thank you again. Thank you for your time.
And that brings us to the end of this webinar. We hope you found this webinar valuable. We will email you the recording of this webinar and the presentation slides soon. For more information on ManageEngine, you can visit www.manageengine.com. Thank you once again and have a great day.